map here, there's a Llinvi old mill, but that is the Baden mill. It was just changed. The name was changed at some point to Llinvi old mill. Do you know what I mean?
That's amazing.
There's seems to be no reason why. Do you know what I mean?
No.
So that's another local name. Do you know what I mean? And that's just on this corner of the mountain. Do you know what I mean?
Right, hello and welcome to another episode of Britain's Hidden History. And I've got John Pincher with me today, who's a resident near Baden, the famous site of the battle. So good morning, John, how are you?
Yeah, Ross, all right?
Yeah, well, afternoon really, isn't it?
Yeah, it was like, yeah.
Just by waking up. So, John got in touch with me to show that he's been part of Britain's Hidden History for a while. And one of the things he's been researching is the way in which a lot of the place names around this area of Baden and other places, but particularly Baden, I think, today, isn't it?
Yeah, it seems to be.
It's bring off the maps. It's bizarre, and the signposts. And it's almost like we can see history disappearing in front of our very eyes. And you've got some examples to show us, I think, John. Is that right?
Yeah, well, I'll try and go through a few now and show you what I found anyway, and see what you guys think, Dan.
Right, okay. Right. John's first go on Zoom, so we're
yeah. Oh, I'm a proper novice at this.
And I'm first time. Well, show off my new T-shirt. Hang on. Let's do my modelling bit.
Oh, gotta be done.
Yes. Anyway.
Yeah.
Right. So what's this we're looking at now then?
Right. This is the first bit now. Like this is just to get the bearings. Like this is to the east of Baden Mountain.
Okay.
And it's just above like the village called Coitry it is.
You can see the word Baden in the middle. Is that right?
Yeah, that was called Baden, but now, like over this, like gone through different name changes over the last, say, 100 years, I'd say, or 150 years or something.
Right.
And because like this on the first edition OS map, it's called Baden the farm, and then there's a farm above it called Pentoyne.
Yep, I can see them. Yeah.
Yeah, but you won't see that on the new maps now because the Baden man has been changed from Baden to, I think it was Penrhyw Caradog. It was another name it was known as.
Right. Well, that was some. Yeah.
Yeah, both of those names seems to have been dropped at some point, and it's called Ochadro now. Like means over the ridge or something.
Well, they put a new name on it.
Yeah. So yeah, but this is a bit weird because this always seems to be the Baden name or associations with any kind of battle what gets dropped. I mean, and nothing else.
That is very weird.
It is a bit weird, yeah.
What's it called now on the map?
Ochadro, I think it's called.
Well, that just means over the ridge or something.
Something like that is. I mean, like over the edge or something, because it's built on like a. I don't know if you can see my cursor here, like.
Yep, we can see it. Yep, little hands. Yep.
Yeah, this is where the ridge of the mountain comes down to meet the river, like. Do you know what I mean? So it's quite a steep bank along here, like. You know what I mean?
I wonder where they got that from.
Yeah, and when they were cutting in the railway, I think it was originally through this part of the valley, they destroyed a site called, you can see it on the map there, it's called like Castell Wewer or something.
Yeah, Castell Wewn, I think, isn't it? W-E-W-N.
Yeah, maybe it's something like that anyway.
Yeah,
like,
something like that, yes.
So, and that's like a choke point of the valley, really, because like everything funnels through this like thin part of the valley, you know what I mean? So it would have been a really good place to put like some kind of defensive wall, even if it was just like a little fortified watchtower or something, you mean?
That would have been the key point to block, yes.
Yeah. So, but you know, I mean, this would have been in the distant past now. Like, I mean, because it probably would have ended up as being like a farm site or something later. Do you mean? But
yeah, but there's that distant past we're talking about, isn't it? Really, this is what we're trying to work out.
Yeah.
And I say the place names changing is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
I think you've got some other pictures as well, haven't you? I think.
Yeah, there's like this other association as well. There's like Tondi, I think, is linked with some like Itael the king or something like that, who was of a much later period though.
Right.
They seem to drop the Itael bit out, and it's just Tondi today. So his name was Itael the, like.
Oh, I see. Tondi's abbreviation. It should be Itael.
Yeah, it should be like I think it's something like Ton Itael the or something like that.
And if
you notice all around this area, there's loads of places with like D in it, do you know what I mean? And this is before the mining or anything that happened in the valley, so it's not, you know what I mean? Because if it was later, it would have been to do with the coal and things like that. Like,
It could have been, didn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, but this is well before the mines were opened.
Very
Yeah, so
interesting.
I'll just go through a few now and show you what I found, really. Is
Yes,
it
please,
awesome?
yeah.
This is another one what's been demoted kind of thing. This is up on the battlefield now. So it's like, it used to be called the British residence. And
I can see it.
yeah, and then later on, after that, it was just written as hut. Site of. Do you
There's
remember?
a downgrade, isn't it?
Yeah, just a little bit like. But this is the site where I think was supposed to be like one of the residences of like Cynan, who was a son of Canoidu. The church is built from, you know what I mean? It's the closest church, really.
Right. And of course, for those who are not aware, these old saints and everything were all being royal family. They're all wealthy, weren't they? They weren't the penniless monks we sometimes think of these days.
Oh God, yeah. And you can see over there, if you look on the thing, it's got the stone. But that's one of the missing stones what has disappeared since this map has been made.
So does that like to be one of the monuments or something, perhaps? Or do you know anything about the stone?
No, there's not much written about it, really. But it's just where it is. It's because if the map, all this bit here, and that's all the battle site, you know what I mean? This is Maes Cad Lawr.
That's Maes Cad Lawr, okay.
Yeah, so a missing stone in Maes Cad Lawr is a bit of a gut in, isn't it?
It is.
We don't know much about it, really. Like,
and I guess we should have just said at the beginning as well, like people are aware of it, just to cover it off, is that the most famous battle that King Arthur fought in the 6th century was Mons Badonis, or Bunydd Mountain, or in Welsh, Mynydd Baden. And of course, this has become a great mystery, and historians have expounded much ink and discussion trying to find where Baden is. But as Alan Wilson pointed out, there's a place in South Wales called Baden. It's Mynydd Baden. And there, if you go there, you can see, as we've done videos on it, you can still see trench works and burial mounds and the place. I mean, you're from the area, but I mean, the little villages around, they were named after famous people who fell at the battle and stuff like that, weren't there? There's an overwhelming amount of evidence. And the only mystery is why it should be considered a mystery, really, isn't it?
Yeah, there's more than one battle up there as well, I think, to be honest.
Yes.
But they don't seem to care about any of them.
It's a choke point, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the weird thing is then, what seems to have happened, particularly since the 1980s, when Wilson and Blackett's books first came out, is a lot of famous place names that they mention in their books started disappearing off the maps. And like significant points, isn't it? Like on Mynydd Gay, you've got the point there to mark there's a monument to the soldiers, and that was the map reference point, but then that's gone even, and the word Baden seems to be disappearing off the maps.
Yeah, the only places mentioned now is the actual farmhouse and the mountain's name itself. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Whereas,
but you say to me that some of the farms are being changed names as well, though, wasn't it? Oh.
Yeah, there was stuff. One of them was the Penrhw, when I mentioned just now. Right, Penrhw Caradog, or the Baden farm. But if there's another one here now, if I zoom in on this, there's just other local buildings. I mean, you see this Llyn, there's that Penrhw Caradog I was talking about.
Okay.
What was originally called Baden, do you mean?
Yep.
And you can see on the map here, there's a Llynvi old mill. But that is the Baden mill. It was just changed, the name was changed at some point to Llynvi old mill, do you mean?
That's amazing.
Seems to be no reason why, do you mean?
No.
So that's another local name, do you mean? And that's just on this corner of the mountain, do you mean? And it would have been somewhere up around here. I don't know if you can see the cursor. Like, I mean, where that Castell Wewer or Wewn or whatever that map says would have been, do you mean? But they destroyed it when they pushed this railway line through, I think.
Well, at least the railway line's got some reason to it.
Yeah, at least that one. You know what I mean? There's a couple
of
other
place names, there's no excuse, is there? No.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very strange.
I'll show you, see what other ones I got on you now.
Okay.
Right, this is the old, the map as you get it today, really. But it's got, this is should have been originally the Baden Valley, like, do you mean?
Okay.
But for some unknown reason, they've changed it to Craig Arbor. Or Craig Arbor, like, do you mean?
Well, these names aren't on the old maps.
Oh, they're on the old map, but do you know what I mean? It's like it's not named. It wasn't the original name. Do you know what I mean?
Well, that's what I mean. Was Craiger Aber not on the old map then? That's just a
It's
new
on
invention?
the old OS maps. Do you know what I mean? But it's like, you know, but it's written. This area is written about before that, and it was known
Right.
as the Baden Valley because there's two big valleys coming down this mountain. One's called Cwm Cemfig, and one's called Craiger Aber, as they call it today. But there's clues to show you where, like, if you look at the farm at the bottom of this valley, it's called Baden Farm. Do you know what I mean? So it's the mouth of the Baden.
Yes.
Whereas Craiger Aber means the mouth of the rock, and it doesn't really mean anything. It doesn't make sense because there's no big rock faces up there, or I mean, because there's a lot of cliffs and things on some of the other mountains around. Do you know what I mean?
It's like a pseudo name, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, this valley, for some reason, out of all the other ones on the mountain, doesn't. I mean, it has been changed at some point in history.
So I think you pointed out to me that when we were talking before that most of the valleys are named after the streams, aren't they? The other valleys around there.
Yeah, but you can tell this was originally called the Baden because of the farm down here is one of the oldest buildings around here, and it's called Aber Baden Farm. Do you mean?
Right, and that
So
stream or river would have been the Baden, is that right?
Yeah, and it's called the Aber Baden Farm here because there's another stream coming down from this Ton Phillip farm you can see here.
Yep.
And it would have met originally just at the other side of the farm, but there's a big open cast there now, and it's dug all the old bits away. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Yes.
But that's why it would have been called that, because it would have been where it met the other ones. Do you know what I mean? Because that's like the minor stream, and that would have been the major stream.
Yes.
But it's just a bit strange because only that valley's changed name, and all the other ones hasn't.
Very strange, isn't it?
Yeah, it doesn't make much
So I
sense.
noticed. Really. Yeah, last time I drove up there, I noticed there's no signs or anything saying Baden anymore, are there? It's quite difficult to actually find it now.
Yeah, the only reason there is a sign there is because there used to be a mine called Aber Baden. The thing, you know, I mean, because otherwise he wouldn't even have that.
No.
I thought, really.
Isn't there one village as well? Isn't there Pentra Baden or something like that? Or was that the mine? Was I just saw a sign with Baden?
Oh no, it was like the mine. Yeah, there was a big mine. It was at the like to the west of, well, northwest of Aber Baden Farm, and that's where it kind of preserved the name almost a little bit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was named after that farm, and there's like just the farm that the old mine used to go under the ground and come out by this like Pentra farm further over.
Oh, that's right. You said the two were joined, weren't they? The two mines. Is that right?
Yeah, underground kind of thing. But when you go and look around this Pentra farm, there's just, if you say on the modern maps as you see them today, under where the Pentra farm name would be written, there's if you look at the old maps, it's the site of a place called Llan Trisant, or the old Capel Trisant, and you go there, but it's completely nothing there now. I mean, it's just all rubble, really, like on the floor.
Really?
That's another church what's gone missing. Do you know what I mean?
It's horrifying, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff gone missing. There's like there used to be two big house platform things, like I don't know, like some kind of hall or something. What was on by Baden Mountain itself, and they have been completely ploughed out, so there's no sign of them today. Do you know what I mean? But it was just lucky some guy drew them in the past.
Jeez.
So that's another site that's gone.
Yeah, because the first time I went up there, I was talking to someone, and he was saying that one of the old farmers up there, his father, so it's like third hand, if you like, back in the 60s, some suits turned up from London and said under the guise of trying to increase farm productivity, they want him to plough out, because you know when you go there, you can see the ditches, you can see the battlements, the trenches, can't you? And then
yeah.
He wanted him to plough them out. They came all the way down to talk to him about ploughing them out. And thank God he said, no, there was a battle up there, I'm keeping them. They'd be gone. That physical evidence would be gone. For some reason, there's a concerted effort to make all this disappear. It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, well, thank God for that farmer then, keeping them.
Yeah, because it gets harder and harder, doesn't it? Because if it doesn't appear on the maps anymore and the physical evidence goes, how are you supposed to know it was there? It just becomes a fairy tale, doesn't it?
Yeah. There's quite a few of the entrenchments where you can't really see much of anymore, but if you look at some of the old maps, they were a lot more prominent than they are today as well.
Yes.
There's ones like parts between, say, Baden Mountain and the Bulwark Eye Fort, which is like towards Bodwellstone.
Right.
In between those kind of things, there's old entrenchment lines along the road coming up from Llangranide as well, called the Gilbach entrenchments.
Okay.
So there would have been like lines of defences going back. Do you mean so you could almost like
Far
fall
more to
back from
see.
one to the other if you needed to? Do you know what I mean?
It's quite shocking, isn't it?
Yeah. And
I'm the
there's
least
like
paranoid person in the world, but you do start to wonder what's going on when you look at this, don't you?
yeah, there's quite a few weird things there is, yeah.
It can't all be accidents.
And the other things what have gone missing is there was 4 stones I know are missing, I think, from between, say, Bodwellstone to Tondy. Do you know what I mean? So it's the old Baden Ridge, I suppose, like, do you know what I mean? There was one right at the top of Cwmcenfig Valley, which is the one next to the Baden Valley.
Right.
There was one there, and that was the Cannon's Cross or something like that. So there's not much. It was recorded, I think, in some of the old like Margam, you know what I mean, land transaction stuff and things back in the day. Do you know what I mean? So it was definitely there, but there's no. It's completely disappeared now, and there's no sign of it, kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? So it's quite annoying, like. And there's another one then, just down the entrenchment lines, what goes from, say, Bulwark Eye down towards Margam Park. There's like a line of trenches like along that valley, and it was about halfway up that valley, kind of thing, like
right.
on the side. And that was a Griffith stone, so I didn't really know who this Griffith guy was, but there's another one that's gone missing. So, you know what I mean? It's like we don't know if there's anything on these stones or.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when we spoke before, I'm convinced that there was a lot more stone shown on the old pictures of. So I don't know Margam so well, but the old pictures of Llantydd Major or Clifford Vawr.
Yeah.
If you look at the old like Arturius Rex and books like that with Wilson and Blackett's pictures, there seems like there's stacks of stones piled up outside. And I've got this nice fancy new visitor centre. There's only about 6.
Is there?
I know
yeah.
one or two are supposed to have gone to the museum in Cardiff. A lot seem to have disappeared. Do you know what?
Yeah, there's loads of stuff that's gone missing over the last. Well, even recently, I don't know if it has gone missing, but there was the original cross base of the original Llangranide Church, kind of thing. Do you mean that was like up on the wall in the porch of the Llangranide Church?
Yes.
But it's not there now. Do you know what I mean? And I don't know whether it's been stolen or whether they've just taken it indoors. So that's one thing I'll have to go and check one day now. And
yeah, I think you seen it was wall mounted, wasn't it? Is that the one?
yeah, it was like pinned into the wall. It was with like old iron things. I mean, it's been there for like donkey's years. I mean, but the last time I went past, I mean, all the things were on the floor and the stone was missing. So, but I haven't actually gone and checked with the vicar, you know what I mean, or anything to see if they've just taken it indoors or anything. But,
yeah, hopefully it's been put somewhere safe, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's shocking.
It was undercover already, like, I mean, in the entrance of the porch. It wasn't like they were moving it for, you know, the conditions or anything.
And like, was it those stones there you were telling me about where they moved the church, haven't they? So the stones are now getting ruined where they used to be in the church.
Oh, yeah, you got it's Merthyr Mawr, they moved the whole actual church, like, so some of the tombs, what would have been up by the altar or things like that, you know what I mean? And in the grass now, are just outside the building.
It's getting rained on and stuff.
Yeah, they're just eroding away now, basically.
And it's really misleading as well, isn't it? If you're trying to do some of the research that we're doing, like working out why people are buried where they are, you know, like you put the founder of the church would go next to the altar and someone goes in the helmsman's position. Well, they moved the whole church. I mean, it's like,
yeah, it's weird as well because they've only moved it over just a couple of foot. Do you know what I mean? Like I say, like
why would you do that?
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense why they've done it. Like, but they well, like around the Victorian times and things like that, they did a lot of these things to churches, didn't they? And
well, they deliberately wrecked an awful lot of Welsh churches on the grounds of safety, and there's no way there was a safety issue, and no record kept, no drawings made. I mean, even primitive photography was coming in by then, and no record. They were just flattened.
Yeah.
Almost all the old churches. It's hard. Are there any? I don't think there's any. Are there really old ones?
No, not really. They're just built in into bits of the other ones now, I suppose.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, they just used the stones and destroyed
use
the markings.
foundations or something.
Brilliant. Was there another map to show, or was that?
Yeah, there was. I'll see if I can find
Because there's Mice Kite Lower on that last map, wasn't it? Oop,
yeah, if I go back to one.
Yeah,
this is see the farmstead has been upgraded from a hut now to a farmstead, that British fortified residence I was talking about.
but the name still disappeared.
Yeah, but the stone is missing as well. And if you could see this spear, this line coming up, that's basically the Father Govright, the road coming up. Do you mean? So that would have almost been like a defensible ditch going cut in between the Baden, almost cutting off this area here. Do you mean? Because up here then is where those Gilvac, like up around this area is where the Gilvac entrenchments are.
Right.
So as you can see over there on the edge of the map, there's nothing recorded today. Do you mean? But if
The
you look at
Mice
the
Kite
old
Lower, at least that name has remained, I suppose.
yeah, and you've got Cunnan over there. That's the guy I think whose stone has gone missing.
Yeah, you mentioned Cunnan, yeah.
And then if you look above it, then you've got the Gadlis.
I noticed Gadlis, yes.
Yeah, that's the battle court, do you know what I mean? And it's just above that Gadlis. There's
Of course,
one
because Cad and Gad is battle, isn't it? So any places like that, like Mice Cad Lower, that's the battle part of that one, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but there's one thing I did notice on one of the things before, but it was from like Glamorgan and Gwent Archaeological Trust thing or whatever. Alan's favourite one, like
yeah. He's our favourite people, yeah.
yeah, there was one mention in one of their things or something about some like a church of Isted or something, what was just down the hill from Llangynnwyd.
Right.
But I've never found any reference to this in anything else, do you know what I mean? Which is a bit odd.
Very odd.
Yeah, because especially because I've been looking into local history for years, do you know what I mean? And this is it's just this one thing, and I got no idea where they've got this from, do you know what I mean? But because it would seem strange to have like two churches of two saints, like that big saints, do you know what I mean, that close together.
Yes.
I mean, because they're literally like a quarter of a mile apart or something, maybe, or
yeah, because I've got to know you. I didn't really do much of an introduction, did I? I'm slipping a bit. I mean, you've been looking into this stuff about 20 years now, isn't it? What?
Oh yeah, I just lived. You know, I mean, I just into the local history, and it's just because of where I lived. It was all on my doorstep. Do you know what I mean? So I could go and walk all these fields and look for all the different things. I mean.
So how did you first get into Wilson and Blackett then? Where did that come along?
Oh, I don't know.
It was backwards now. We're having this should have come at the beginning, really. But go on.
Yeah. Oh, it was probably. Oh, I'm not sure, to be honest. I don't know. It's hard to think, like, but I can remember doing like back. You know what I mean? In Donkey. You know what I mean? It was about 2001 or something like that. I think I was doing or 2002 maybe. Like little film things on some of the Holy Kingdom books and things like that. Do you mean? Or, when I was in college and things, do you mean? So.
Oh, please dig them out.
No, I'm gonna have to try and think about it, yeah, and see if I found them. Like.
Oh, I should mention, John is the one who, of course, you built the models I showed on the Sunday show.
Yeah, I'll have to show you some of the things I found at the church as well.
Yes, hang on. Oh, so prepared today. Just for anyone who didn't see it, this is like this wonderfully to scale model there of the ruins. So we're actually on the other hill now. We're on one of the gear, but
yeah.
And there's a sort of what the church could have looked like kind of thing.
Yeah, the kind of last phase I was thinking of that. Do you know what I mean? Because there is quite a few phases below that, but do you know what I mean? It's conjecture then, isn't it? So
yeah, no, it's great. Yeah, it's cracking.
Yeah, so I think it's quite cool. Like, there's a few things, weird things with the church site as well. As like, I've noticed if you look at the old tithe maps of the St. Peter's Church,
right?
There's like a weird extended part on I think it'd be the north wall, what doesn't really match up with what it is today. It's like almost as if it's like an aisle missing on one end of the church or something, but it doesn't. When I looked at the actual structure then, you know, I couldn't see no seams or anything or where it is, so I don't know whether it's just an error on the map maker's side of it or what. But
so the strange thing, I'd say it's one thing I would recommend of people is if like John and myself, if you make models and do paintings and drawings, it's only then you really look at something, you find, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the difference.
like
You
the back
really look
end
at the
of the-
detail then. If you just look at something, you sort of see it. If you try and draw it and copy it, or better still, put the picture away and try and draw it and see how much you've actually remembered, you'd be amazed how much detail. You've got to train your eyes, haven't you, to see these things.
Yeah. It's like when I was doing that reconstruction model, there's a few things I found out just by accident. You mean?
Yes.
I was looking at I was trying to figure out how much of the walls on the front has actually disappeared. I mean, where the original roof line would have been.
Yeah.
And you can, and if you look at the front of the building, but there you can see the porch bit coming up. Do you know what I mean? But to get that angle on the actual porch line, it means you've lost, say, about half the height of the wall. So a lot more than you'd think when you're looking at the actual ruin today. It would have been quite a lot taller building than.
Yeah, the roof would have been quite a bit of height as well, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Because otherwise that doorway doesn't fit. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I see.
So what I did, I went round and had a look at, like, say, Munt Church and the different, like there's one in St. Fagans with a similar kind of design porch and things like that. Do you know what I mean? And but the height of the wall, you know what I mean? If it's, because you've got on the east side of the church. You know what I mean? It's like the tallest part of the remains, as it is today.
East side.
Yeah, see where the door is on the.
That
On
end,
the side, that side over there. Do you know what I mean? That is probably the tallest part of the actual remains today. So you think that is where the roof line would have been. But when you actually line it up to get the porch under it, do you know what I mean? It shows that it's quite a chunk missing, like.
Yeah, and also even that point above, you can show it's 2 or 3 times the height of that, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a few bits, do you know what I mean? And
you're out for the apex, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a lot missing on there, and there's other strange things like the alignment of the porch part and the back part are slightly different to the other part. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So we're trying to work out with mapping which one's actually true east. I'll tell you, we'll come back to that, church, because I want to show that mapping and which one's east. And
we'll come back to that.
Chat about. Is there any more place names on here to see? Have we done the maps or?
I think we've done most of the ones I found on here now. It's just mainly the Baden mountain.
Okay, well, show us any more bits you want to show before we close off there, yeah.
Yeah, there's that was one more thing. Let me see if I can find a picture of it.
Because last time we started to chat, I think it was about 3 hours later, wasn't it?
Yeah. There's one thing as well. There was up by there's a valley called Sachbant what comes down.
Hang on, sorry, say it again slowly.
There's a valley called Sachbant.
Sachbant.
Yeah, it's SYCHPANT, Sachbant, like.
Okay, all right.
And it's there's a farm there and stuff. Do you know what I mean? And supposedly in the past, some guy dug up an old chunk of a Celtic cross kind of thing or something like that. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
And I think the last thing I heard about it was used as a plant pot in the local surgery. Like, but the surgery. But do you know what I mean? It's like that's another
lack of interest is just amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's frightening, this lack of interest in anything in the Welsh history. I think that's what's most disturbing, I think.
Yeah, the area of this Sachbant thing does look like a fort, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Because it's like, do you know what I mean? So there could have been something there in the past, but it's just kind of been forgotten even locally, like, do you know what I mean? But it's not that far from from the Baden and all these kind of sites as well, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I suppose
quite a lot of the local sites where I don't have much attention, really.
Yeah, plus we're just spoilt or something, I don't know, but people don't seem to appreciate anything old, do they? It's weird. No. Most countries would be putting museums around this stuff. We're just chucking it away.
Yeah, it is.
This is quite disturbing, isn't it?
Yeah. So that's most of the things I just got on that.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah.
So I'll look into a couple of other things and then show those next time, man. Is it? Or?
Excellent. Yes, please. Yes. Excellent. Thank you very much indeed. Oh, that was your sign off then. I was very slick. That was that pop career is coming back to haunt you, isn't it? Yeah. Slam the mic down and storm off. Well, thank you very much, John. It's wonderful. I think everyone's going to be
no worries. I'll catch you soon. No, but
we'll catch you the next one. Yeah. Cheers, mate. I'm going to stop this now. Hang on. There we go. Until the next time, I can say Heddu now. Heddu. Oh yeah, get the t-shirts in the shop. Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course.
Thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed that and found it informative. Britain's Hidden History Group has so much more going on our YouTube channel. The one you're watching now, there's a live stream, 8 o'clock UK time every Sunday. We speak to people like Wilson and Blackett, reprint their old books and help produce new ones. We go researching to the tops of mountains, all the way down to the bottoms of caves. Busily recording the books, you can listen to them as well, and looking at mysteries and working out what we're not being taught in schools and preserving it, because the physical and written evidence is rapidly disappearing. You can also find out how to read ancient writing and hieroglyphs using the Welsh language. It's amazing. There's a Facebook group where this is being discussed. Along with a website, you can buy the books and help us. Also, as you can see, there's now a Patreon page where just a few pounds a month will make all the difference in trying to keep the project going and preserve this history for future generations, and also to find out for ourselves what is going on, what is Britain's hidden history. So until the next time, Heddiw!